What's up, everybody? It's Julian. Today I'm super excited to be showing you how to do Bailey style modern techno. We're going to be going through everything: the drums, the synths, the stabs, all of it, even the bass line. To go along this video, you can grab this template that you just heard in the intro at the top of the description on my website. Make sure to go grab that. It really helps support me, and let's dive in. Alright, so we're at 145 BPM. First thing we got here is we got a little side chain. It's just a piece of a kick, really short for side chaining purposes. Then we got our kick and bass. So this is the foundation of all techno. You gotta have these grooving together before you can do anything else. We start with this 909 kick. So that's what it sounds like, just dry, and then I've got a little bit of overdrive on it. You can see that's what it's doing. It's just adding a little bit of like high mid-range, and then we're cutting some sub, and then converting it to mono. For the bass line, so turning off all the effects, what's happening here is it's this, which sounds crazy, but basically it's just actually a half note. Like if you looped it like this, it would be the same thing, right? So it's basically this short little pattern where you're just jumping around a few different notes. The gliding is very important. Right, in this case it's like A, E, another A, just kind of simple stuff in that key. And then yeah, so we got this square wave as well as a saw wave. Super fat sound because the saw wave is an octave up, so you got like a lot of harmonics going on. And then we just low pass it. Also, this glide is very important, right? We have it set to monophonic and then it's gliding. Then we sidechain. A little bit of a subcut, and then convert it to mono, and that gives you a nice groove between the kick and the bass. Then we can move up to the rest of the drums. So it starts here with, we have this little tom. You can hear just grooves against that kick and bass. I've got this playing that little pattern, and then it's being side chained, high passed a bit, so just really getting rid of like the sub bass, but not necessarily ruining it, and then just converting it to mono. Because sometimes when you cut the sub out of stuff, you can mess up the phase. Then we got our main hi hat. So this, we got two layers. We got this one just short little closed hi-hat. I noticed with this style of techno, it grooves better if you have like a little short closed hi-hat instead of one of these big open 909s. But then I've also got this. So what's happening here is this little noisy sort of hi-hat sample. Right, it just hits on every other hi-hat. And then I've got a grain delay. A bit of this like really short reverb inside a hybrid reverb, and then this auto pan to make it sidechain sounding to the kick and make it fit in the groove. And you can see what that does over that other hi-hat. It just gives it some life. I've also got a little ride. This one is kind of cool, so we got our ride. And then I have a bit of grain delay to give it some stereo width and kind of just spread it out a little bit with some auto pan as well to make it bounce off the kick. Little closed hi-hat action, just. And then we got some loops if I play these all together. So it's really just like a bit of live stuff like this. This one, which I got high pass and auto pan. I've got this one. Again, just like some live stuff that you can't really get without using loops, right? We've also got this. Which is this crazy synth recording. I took it and I put it on the grid, and then yeah, I've just duplicated it over every half note. We got a little bit of auto pan and high pass on that. And then so there's all the drums. That's the first part to it. You want to get the drums down first, and then you can move up to all of these synth little stabs and chords. Now, I want to play these on their own here just to show you how much of this is actually going on. Like, if you listen to these, there's not a moment where there isn't something happening. Right, and I think a lot of people, when they hear this kind of techno, they think it's simple and there's not that much going on. There's a lot going on with these. For example, like here we have these kind of 4 stabs together, which really kind of do one thing. Like if you play them. Right, you hear how they kind of all talk to each other? Right, so there's all this call and response happening, which gets a bit complicated. That's when it gets to like kind of 4 layers for one synth line like this. So just moving down, like these, a lot of these are created using like audio and then using a filter envelope or a filter with an envelope on top of that. Like you can see I've got this thing, right? If I play you the sample, it's like a synth stab. But what we're doing is I've got a low pass filter with an envelope. Right? And then this hybrid reverb, which is really good for kind of just making things that sort of like roomy, kind of convoluted sound. A bit of overdrive, or a bit of distortion on this pedal, I should say. We got this one. This is literally just like a piece of this audio effects sound. I've got this, which is like, again, just this crazy sound. But you can see I cut off that start and then it's, right, that's got a little bit of that really short reverb and a bit of the auto pan as well. And then this thing, which is literally like some drums with the low pass envelope method and then a bit of grain delay and stuff. So it's like little stuff like that. We got this thing, which is just a little breath. It's basically the sound that I pitched down a lot. Like in the MIDI here, you can see it's really low. And these kind of sounds, as simple as they are also really important because it kind of sets, okay, this is like the start of the loop again. Like you get this every 4 bars. And every time you hear it, it kind of helps tell you, okay, here we are. We've started over. This also kind of works with it. Like if you listen to these two together, you can hear it. And that's got its own little auto pan as well. Then we have this drum rack I made. So what's going on here is it's basically these 2 operator percussions doing this pattern, right? It's so if you look at these patches, it's basically like just different things with sine waves with short envelopes. They kind of just create some percussive sounds. You can see really detuning these and putting like the first operator higher than the other ones can really help. And then I'm putting it through some resonators. A bit of auto pan and high pass. And then it fits in. Here we just have a little snare and a clap that you get every like 2 bars essentially. Right, just at the end of every 2 bars, just this little stuff. The clap's got a reverb. This one's cool, it's just this little... These little subdued sort of synths are nice because they're honestly very simple to make. Like this, okay, so it just glides up from C to C sharp. And then it's basically just some super detuned saw waves. A bit of a bandpass filter. I think with this one, it's really just playing with the settings, like getting the perfect envelope settings, like the right amount of decay, getting the frequency at the right spot, getting the resonance right. I've got, again, more of this convolution sort of stuff. Right, it gives it that sort of roomy quality that you hear in all of these tracks. A bit of overdrive and some chorus. We got this thing. So what's happening with this is it's actually a drum loop from a breakbeat, right? Like if you listen to the original sample, right? So it's got this rhythm, and then I put a resonator on it, which is 100% wet. So now you have this cool kind of metallic loop. We got this short reverb, sidechain, and then we high passed it. And see, it just fills in that background nicely. This is another one of those kind of using audio to create a stab. You can see it's just one note across different octaves. What this is it's this really short little piece of this end of this stab here. So I took that, and then what I'm doing is there's a low pass filter with a lot of resonance, and then a really short envelope. And it just kind of makes this little zap sound. And then we got our auto pan and our high pass to kind of make it fit into the beat. It's a really small sound on its own, but you can hear how it fits into everything. We got this little reverse sound. So this is just an effect that I took. There's a bit of auto pan and high pass. This is another nice way to kind of build some tension in the middle of the groove. Right, that little just kind of comes out. Plus it goes well with the snare. Like if you played the snare against this is kind of like different elements working together. Then we just have this little chord stab. So it's one chord across two different octaves. Here's the original chord. So I took that, and then I've put a low pass filter, high resonance on it with an envelope. Right, and you get this kind of like uneasy, dark stab, and then I've got this hybrid reverb on it. Right, that room sound is really important with the sound design in this techno. Like, when you hear this guy's tracks and all this kind of genre, it's like that very convoluted, kind of very short reverb sort of sound. This is how you get that. Then just a bit of high pass and an auto pan to make it fit into the beat. And there we are. So that is how you make this style of techno. It's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments if you want to see more in this style. Definitely grab this project file at the top of the description. Help support me so I can keep bringing you guys new videos like this every single day. Thanks for the support, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.